Hello friends, JT Tapias with the Empty Your Bucket Nutrition Plan, and today I want to speak about the truth about your fitness journey. Let me ask you some questions. Do you go to the gym at least 3+ times a week and yet you're not seeing the results that you want to see? More importantly, are you burning 600 to 800 calories plus and yet you're not really where you need or want to be? And then lastly, are you cutting a ton of calories, right? Are you actually starving and miserable because you're not eating enough and you look in the mirror and you're just like, this is just not happening for me? If this is you, my friend, please stay with me because I have 3 very powerful shifts that will change everything for you. And you're going to say, I wish I would have known this 10 years ago. My name is JT Tapias, and I'm a professional fitness life coach with the Empty Your Bucket Nutrition Plan. And for the last 23 years, I've been in the world of transformations, and I believe I have seen it all. We have developed some hacks, some tricks around not only losing weight and decreasing body fat percentages, but actually helping you sustain those changes for a lifetime. I know that's a bold statement. You're probably thinking, yeah. I've heard that from all these gurus and fitness experts. But my friend, my clients, the people I work with, are the true testament to what I'm about to say. And so in this video, I want to share these 3 foundational points with you. And I want to give you a different perspective because I know that if you're doing this, you're putting out so much energy, you're exerting so much energy on a daily basis to make this happen. And I want you to get to your goals, not in 6 months, 12 months, but in a short 90 days. That is right. If you plug all of these foundational pieces into place, my friend, you will land on a dime, meaning you will get to your goal in the next 60 to 90 days. And so hear me out. Number 1, if you're trying to do all these things, you're working out, you're eating right, you're putting all this effort and all this enthusiasm and motivation towards getting in shape, and you're not there yet, but you're not sleeping well. You're sleeping under 6 hours, right? Maybe, your story is, hey, I'm busy. I'm wired by the time I go to bed, or I go to bed late. I'm used to getting to bed after watching, a couple of Netflix, 30, 40, 50 minutes, an hour of Netflix, and it's hard for me to get to bed. And so I go to sleep late, and I sleep anywhere from 4 to 5 hours. This is very common, by the way. Most people that are struggling with getting anywhere with their fitness are sleeping very little. And so then the goal is really to sleep a minimum of 7 to 8 hours. If you're not getting a minimum of 7 hours of sleep, and I know everyone is different, everyone requires a different amount of sleep and rest, but if you're getting less than 7 to 8 hours of sleep, what I know for sure is that your body most likely is secreting cortisol. Cortisol is a stress response hormone, and we need a certain amount of it. But when we get too much, right, it's not favorable to weight loss. It's not favorable to decreasing body fat percentages. And no matter what you do, how hard you work, how many calories you cut, you will not get to your goal, my friend. It doesn't matter if you're training with the best trainer in the world. If you're not sleeping well, you're not going to recover well. And of course, your performance is going to be mediocre. So you have to get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Number 2, check this one out. You need to slow your training down. What do I mean by that? I'm not necessarily talking about resistance training. I'm talking about your cardio. Some of you guys go out for runs, bikes, you swim, you do Zumba, you do all these things because the idea is, well, I'm burning calories, right? Movement has to be positive. And to that, I say yes. Anytime one of my clients says that they're active, I'm happy for them. But there is entertainment and then there is efficiency. The most efficient way to decrease body fat percentages without being excessively hungry, and in a way that you can do it every single day because you don't have to wait 2-3 days to recover from it, is called slow burn cardio or steady state cardio. This is literally a brisk walk or anything that keeps your heart rate low as you consistently walk or do whatever activity you do inside of a very specific heart rate, because for general reasons, I'm not going to give you the specific numbers here, but I would just say that it's a slow walk where you can hold a conversation, you can talk to someone without being out of breath. If you can stay in that specific heart rate for 45, ideally 60 minutes, which is the sweet spot, right? Something is really important happens here. When you run, bike, swim, or do any of those high cardiovascular activities, you get those crazy workouts that you get when you do HIIT training or circuit training or CrossFit and your heart rate is up there in the 180s, your main source of energy is oxygen. We don't want that to happen. We want our main source of energy to be glycogen when we're actually doing cardio. And that requires a very, very low heart rate. It's tedious, yes. It's something that sometimes requires a little bit more effort than you would want to put into this. Yes, I agree with all those things, but it is the most efficient way and one of the sure ways to decrease body fat percentages and lose unwanted weight in record time. Number 3, of course, nutrition. Now, you have all of these different plans, all these different things that gurus and experts are talking about: keto, Atkins, South Beach, macro counting, calorie counting, point counting. And sure, if you do any of these systems well, you're going to get some results. The challenge with the vast majority of these programs, actually 97% of these programs, is that they're not sustainable for 2 reasons. Number 1, they don't have sustainability phase. They are sprint strategies. They get you there. You lose 15, 20 pounds. You decrease between 3.5 and 7% body fat while you're doing it. But then it's not sustainable for a lifetime, right? It's not something that you can sustain forever. And number 2, it makes you hungry. No one likes to be hungry. And of course, even if you lose some weight, 10 or 15 pounds, what I know about fad diets is that if you just derail a little bit from the protocols, that weight comes back on with a vengeance, making people incredibly frustrated. And so what is the goal? The goal is really to control insulin spikes. Anytime you eat anything, you spike insulin, right? Now, the goal is to eat foods that are low insulinogenic foods so that you're balancing out your insulin levels. You're not getting these huge spikes and you're not hungry all the time, because you may think, man, I have this crazy appetite. I'm constantly hungry. And there's physical hunger and there's toxic hunger. Physical hunger is when you're actually hungry, you need some food. And then toxic hunger is that emotional type of hunger. If you are constantly spiking insulin, if you are constantly eating starches, if you're constantly eating sugars, like fast sugars, what's going to happen is you're constantly going to be hungry, and it's going to be literally impossible for you to sustain anything. And so we need to get on a low insulinogenic diet, right? Inside of the Empty Your Bucket Nutrition Plan, we have our 3 phases, which do an amazing job. Phase 1, 2, and 3. Phase 1 is a very conservative phase, and where we're resetting your palate, resetting your brain's reward pathways, so that when you go back to these foods that you like, or that you do so much of now, when you go back to them, you don't need them as much and you don't like them as much. And that's a game changer, because at that point, you don't have to wait for a coach to say, do this or do that. You simply don't want to do them because your taste buds have changed. You have reset your palate. Your affections for the things that you used to eat before are no longer there. And that creates an amazing ecosystem for sustainability. So my friend, today we talked about the truths about your fitness journey. 3 important points. Number 1, sleep. Number 2, train slower, right? Bring that heart rate down. Number 3, nutrition. We want to make sure that we're controlling insulin spikes so you're not overly hungry. I hope you got something out of this video. More importantly, I hope you put it to action. These are the things I enjoy speaking about, things that edify the mind, the body, and the spirit. JT Tapias with the Empty Your Bucket Nutrition Plan. I hope you enjoyed this video. You're absolutely going to love this one here. I'll talk to you guys soon. Ciao, ciao.